and more secure for you and your children. I couldn't help at one point in my discussions privately with General Secretary Gorbachev, when you stop to think that we're all God's children wherever we may live in the world, I couldn't help but say to him, just think how easy his task and mine might be in these meetings that we held if suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species, from another planet, outside in the universe. We'd forget all the little local differences that we have between our countries, and we would find out once and for all that we really are all human beings here on this.
Shalom. All praise and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Kakodash, the most and the elder apostles, and unto salutations to you. Akim that's laboring too. This is a an article involving the so-called Jew, all right, so-called Jews over in the land of Israel, which they're imposters. They're trying to pose themselves as if they're us, and they're not. But one of the old former space chiefs made the basically he's a whistleblower, for the space program. All right, they know that Yahweh Shah and the angels and the chariots are out there, and it's no secret, man. They've been hiding that from the masses of the people for many years, but it's overwhelming to the point where they can't hide it no more. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah have made sure it's worked. And so you have this article right here from NBC News. I'm going to get into it. I'm not going to make it long. I'm going to go right in, hit the point. Get into this article, man, because the elites of Esau, Edom, they know that the chariots, all right, of the Lord, and also they're known as salvation vehicles, the chariots of Israel, are the same thing that Elijah was taken up in, and also our Lord, more importantly, our Lord Yahweh Shah was taken up into the chariot, all right, once he ascended up into heaven, all right, after his resurrection from the grave, all right, when he was risen again, all right, he spoke with his disciples, which later became apostles. He ascended up into heaven. You can find that in the book of Acts, which I'll get that as well. All right. Now let's get into this article real quick. It says former Israeli space security chief says extraterrestrials exist, and Trump knows about it. A galactic federation has been waiting for humans to reach a stage where we will understand what space and spaceships are. Haim Eshid said. A former Israeli space security chief has sent eyebrows shooting heavenward by saying that Earthlings have been in contact with extraterrestrials from a galactic federation. The unidentified flying objects have asked not to publish that they are here. Humanity is not ready yet. Haim Eshid, former head of Israel's Defense Ministry's Space Directorate, told Israel's Yediot Aharonot newspaper. The interview in Hebrew ran on Friday, which they don't speak Hebrew, they speak Yiddish. All right. It says the interview in Hebrew ran on Friday and gained traction after parts were published in English by the Jerusalem Post on Tuesday. A respected professor and retired general, Eshid, said the aliens were equally curious about humanity and were seeking to understand the fabric of the universe. Now, this man is claiming to have spoken to angels, which, You know what I mean? I don't believe that, but I'm just reading the article, so I don't believe that that the angels spoken with this man, but have the angels spoken to our ancestors in the past? Yes, they have. Example, the prophet Esdras. All right, and I'm gonna bring up Esdras as well too. But one thing I want you to note is that they know. See, when they say extraterrestrials, they mean the angels. All right, the angels are actually out there, and they see activity of the chariots going in and out of the spiritual realm, which is the fourth dimensions, as you call it. All right, into the third dimensions, which the eye see, 3 dimensions, with the naked eye. So, pretty much they see the interaction. They see the chariots when they're hovering in the skies and formations. They see all those things. They see pretty much everything, via satellite imagery. All right, and recording. So they know that the chariots, all right, are out there. They know angels are out there. All right, they know that the Father is watching. All right. It says, continuing on, a respected professor and retired general, Ishid, said the aliens were equally curious about humanity and were seeking to understand the fabric of the universe, which the angels don't need to understand the fabric of the universe. They first of all, they understand everything the Most High programmed to understand. All right. They don't need no understanding from no man. Right? I mean, you gotta make that make sense. All right. The Most High is the one that gives the order. All right. The most matter of fact, let's go to scripture. Go right here to let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, also known as Sirach. And it speaks about the chariots. Okay. I'm sorry, not the chariots, but the angels. I'm sorry. But right here in this precept, it speaks about the angels. Now, this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 39, beginning in verse 28. It says, "There be spirits that are created for vengeance." See, another word for spirits are angels, because we all are angels, but there are different tasks for different angels. So you have angels which are out in the spiritual realm, and they do whatever the Heavenly Father's order is. All right, whether it's the 24 elders, all right, that worship the Most High day and night, whether it's the archangels, all right, they have their different tasks the Most High Heavenly Father give them. All right, the Most High Himself, Yahweh, gives the orders. All right, and the angels act. All right, once the order is given out. All right, they don't have any emotional. They don't have any emotional things. They just do what the Most High say do. It says there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which the Most High Himself, matter of fact, let's go to it. The book of Hebrews. All right. The book of Hebrews. All right. Go right to the book of Hebrews. Hebrews 12:9, it reads, it says, "Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh, which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live?" See, the Most High is also known as the Father of spirits because He's the one that created, all right, His only begotten Yahweh Shai, all right, and then giving Yahweh Shai the blueprint on how to create, all right, all the other things. All right, the Most High one created angels for Himself and for His purpose. All right, and that's how it is. All right, let's go back to Sirach. The book of Sirach, or Ecclesiastes also is known as. Go back to the 39th chapter. Sorry. Alright. It says, Sirach 39 and 28 again, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, when in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So who made them? The Father of spirits, Yahweh, the Most High himself. Alright. It says, I'm gonna jump down a bit. Verse 31. That's it. It says, they shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is. And when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. That backs up what I just said. You know, when the Most High gives the order, they act upon it. All right, and they do exactly what the Most High say do. All right, they say they don't transgress his word. All right, so continuing on, going back to the article. All right, it says she said cooperation agreements had been signed between species, including an underground base in the depths of Mars, where there are American astronauts and alien representatives. You know, this guy is crazy. It says there is an agreement between the U.S. government and the aliens. They signed a contract with us to do experiments here, he said. And she added that President Donald Trump was aware of the extraterrestrials' existence and had been on the verge of revealing information, but was asked not to in order to prevent mass hysteria. They have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general what space and spaceships are, she said, referring to the Galactic Federation. The White House and Israeli officials did not immediately respond to NBC News requests for comment. Sue Goff, a spokesperson for the Pentagon, declined to comment. A spokesperson for NASA said one of the agency's key goals was the search for life in the universe, but that it had yet to find signs of extraterrestrial life. Although we have yet to find signs of extraterrestrial life, NASA is exploring the solar system and beyond to help us answer fundamental questions, including whether we are alone in the universe, the spokesperson said in a statement. Now, the answer is they know that, you know, the angels are out there. There are many recordings in history that show that the angels, which they're in the chariots, but they do, all right, appear. The chariots appear, all right, and Esau knows that. Esau knows that the angels, all right, are out there in the chariots, and that's the reason why they had to reveal that the so-called UFOs are real, which are the chariots. All right, the same goes for this Ashid guy, this Haim Ashid guy. All right, he knows that the angels are real. Now they're making some old fairy tale, galactic, or whatever sense about it, but you know, Esau is scared, and that's the reason why Trump, you know, as far as, you know, making that Space Force. Remember, he said he was creating a Space Force so he can try to combat Yahweh Shai and the angels. And with Ronald Reagan, the former U.S. President Ronald Reagan, mentioned in the video I played during the beginning of this video, you know, he mentioned about, you know, there being extraterrestrial life out there, because they know, and they've been knowing for many years, you know, for centuries. All right, since the beginning of time, the chariots have always been there, okay? In different ancient paintings, you know, you look up all the paintings with so-called UFOs in them, and you'll see, all right? Even including St. Elmo's fire, all right, the painting of Mona Lisa, all that, right? So the chariots are out there, okay? Now let's go to the book of all right, and remember, our Lord going to return with the chariots as well, all right? Matter of fact, let's get that first. Revelation 1, verse 7. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 7. It says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. I'm about to say Yahweh Shah Shalaki. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall will because of him. Even so be it. Now this is when Yahweh shall appear. He's going to appear. Now, someone that don't have understanding of the scriptures, they would think he's going to come back like, this Dragon Ball Z character Goku, riding up on a cloud. No, it's not talking about an actual cloud. All right, Yahweh Shah is going to actually come back in the chariot. All right, how we know that he's going to come back in the chariot? Well, let's go to the book of Isaiah 66 in about the 15th verse. And it reads, For behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to rend his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh shall be many. So the Most High himself is going to come. All right. And how he's going to come? By sending his only begotten son back, Yahweh Shai. And remember, the Most High is going to put his spirit upon those missiles so that they'll hit in every target that he wants them to hit. All right. That's why the scriptures tell you they should not break their ranks. All right. Because the Most High himself is going to guide those missiles to destroy this place, which is known as America. All right. The Most Heavenly Father is going to do that. All right. Now, he knows to mention his chariots like a whirlwind. Now, the chariots, all right, are what the angels ride in, okay? The angels ride in chariots. Now, not always, all right, but when you see the so-called UFOs, they are angels operating them, all right, and controlling them and making them go to and fro, all right? So that links up with what I read to you in Revelation, all right? The clouds represents the chariots. It's a metaphor. Not an actual cloud, no. An actual chariot. All right. When the Most High sent Yahweh Shai to come back to wage war, because there's going to be a war between Yahweh Shai and Esau. All right. It's going to be Yahweh Shai and his angels, Esau and his military, and there's going to be a war. All right. When the scriptures speak about in the book of Revelation about and there was war in heaven. Let's talk about Yahweh Shah when he come back with the angels. All right. Let's talk about the war you're going to see in the firmament or the heaven, which is the firmament is the sky, if you will. When you look up in the sky, you're going to see a lot of chariots going about to and fro, destroying the different war planes and everything. It's going to be an all-out war. All right. And then I mentioned Esdras, right? Let's go to the book of Esdras. All right, because I mentioned earlier that the angels talked to our ancestors at different times. Now this is what the angel was conversing with the prophet Esdras about. So this is Esdras. The book of Esdras, second Esdras, chapter 13. I'm gonna get start at verse 1. It says, And it came to pass, after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, and it moved all the ways thereof. Now it's talking about the firmament, right? Because remember, that's water as well. All right, the Most High separated the waters. So when you look up in the sky, in the firmament, if you will, there's still water, okay? And it says, verse 3, And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And those are the angels, right? The thousands of heaven is the angels. The thousands of angels he's going to return with. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. Now, I'm going to hold it right there. I'm going to jump over to Psalms, the 68th chapter. Psalm 68. I mentioned the angels. He's going to come back with the angels, right? So let's go. Psalm 68. verse 17 says, the chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels. See? It said, even thousands of angels, the Lord is among them, as in Sinai in the holy place. Now, notice the word Lord is in lowercase letters, as far as the rest of the words, the last three words. Let's talk about Yahweh Shai is going to be actually among the leading the charge with the angels, with the chariots. Okay, he's going to be among them. He's going to be leading the charge. All right, in the front. All right, just like in old times, you had with King David, he will be out leading the army of Israel. All right, remember King David was a great warrior. All right, he was the greatest warrior we had seen. All right, so how much more the only begotten Yahweh Shai? Okay. It says, that's it on that. Yeah, Shalaki. That's it on that. Let's go back to, I thought maybe more. But let's go back to 2 Ezra 13 now. What was I at, about the third or fourth verse? Yeah, it says, 2 Ezra 13 and 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thoughts of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whatsoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth filleth when it filleth the fire. Now I was talking about the chariots issuing out laser beams of fire. All right, concentrated fire. So you'll understand. Excuse me. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Right, so it's going into, all right, Yahweh Shai when he returned with the chariots with the angels in them. All right, how they're going to actually meet up in the firmament and prepare for war. And it's going to actually be a war. All right, that's what it's talking about in the book of Revelations. All right, let's go to let's go right to it, because that's what it's speaking about. This is the war in heaven, which is the firmament. All right, Revelations 12 and verse 7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. See, along with Yahweh Shai, he's going to have Michael, the archangel, right beside him, with the rest of the angels, the archangels and the other angels. And there will be war. Okay? There will be war. And what's going to happen? Yahweh Shai is going to devour them. All right? Yahweh Shai and the rest of the angels, including the archangels, they're going to devour Esau and his military. All right? Let's go back to 2 Ezra. And see, in the elites of Esau know this. That's why the former Israeli space chief, all right, from the defense ministry of the occupants of the land of Israel, that's why he's speaking about it. He's trying to make a joke of it, by saying, they communicate and all this old other stuff, Galactica and all that, he's making fun of, like it's a fun thing, or like it could possibly be fake, but he knows it's real. All right, he knows that it's real. All right, so let's go back to 2 Ezra 13. What is it, about 5? Verse 6. 5. Well, yes, I'll begin at 5 again. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. The man is Yahweh Shai again. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. It's talking about the great massive size of the chariot that he's going to come back in. Yahweh Shai is going to come back in the biggest chariot of all. in the grand entrance, if you will. All right, he's going to make a grand entrance, with dramatic fashion, because the chariot he's going to be in is going to be so big, man. That's why we always bring up the Independence Day movie, because it's going to be so vast. Because the prophet Ezra is not talking about literally a mountain. He's talking about how big the chariot is. It's like the size of a mountain. He's comparing to like the size or the mass. All right, the mass size of a mountain. That's how you know that. It's a metaphor. Okay. It says, verse 7, but I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not, because it came out of nowhere, if you will. All right, meaning it came out of nowhere. All right, it just appeared, and there was Yahweh Shai. All right, it says, verse 8, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet there's fight. Remember, the Most High is a man of war. He's gonna bring Yahweh Shai with the archangels and the rest of the angels and the chariots to war against Esau and all the militaries on the earth. Right? Because the Most High is gonna cause a war to happen. All right, and that's exactly what I'm reading about. All right, which involves the so-called UFOs, which are the chariots. Again, all right, they're the chariots. Now, that's all I'm gonna go. That's all I'm gonna read on that. I just want to hit that point. Now, I want to make another point, because I mentioned that they was also known as the salvation of Israel. All right, now this is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5. Now this is talking about the actual abduction, if you will, of the elect. All right, when the elect is actually beamed up on the chariots, Lord willing, I'm one of those men that are beamed up on the chariot. All right. But, I'm just making a point because the chariots play a major role into prophecy and to these major events that's going to take place here real soon. All right. The so-called UFOs are real, man. Esau knows it. All the heathens know it. All the heathen witness the chariots moving about the skies, whether it's daytime or nighttime. All right. But let me make my last point here. In Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, beginning at verse 1, it says, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision, in a proverb of reproach. We fools account his life madness and his end to be without honor. This is what they're gonna say. All right. See, the strangeness of our salvation is gonna be seeing actual men, women, and children. Start with the men of the 144,000 abducted, all right, or beamed up, as we say, beamed up on the chariots, the so-called UFOs. That's going to be strange to everyone else that's watching. It says so far beyond that all they look for. Meaning what? So far beyond that they can imagine. All right. It's going to be a gazing show, because everybody that despises among our people are going to be included with the rest of the numbers. Going to be gazing up in the heavens or in the skies, watching us being abducted or beamed up on the chariots. While the chariots, zapping laser beams, again, concentrated fire on everyone else. You know, that's got to be the most gut-wrenching feeling. All right, there is when you're watching this with your own eyes. Those people that are going to be still alive, whether it's Israelites or the heathen nations that are watching. They're going to be amazed, man. Like, wow, they're being abducted. What are those, man? I knew those was real. Man, where they going? You know? See, that's why it's so humbling to have this knowledge, because we know these things are going to occur. All right? We know these things are going to occur because why? It's prophecy, man. That's the reason why we constantly go into it. That's why we constantly go into the prophecy and the scriptures about the chariots and how they play a part of prophecy. All right, this is the book of Zechariah chapter 5 verse 1. This is the prophet Zechariah when he's seeing the chariot. It says, Zechariah chapter 5 verse 1, then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll, all right, which Esau calls a saucer. It says a flying roll. And he said to me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then he said unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stood it shall be cut off as on the side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. I will bring it forth, said Yahweh of hosts. Hosts mean army. And it shall enter into the house of the thief, which is Esau, and into the house of him that swear falsely by my name. You Israelites, man. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. Yeah, fire. All right. See, it's all fun and games till, you know, these chariots actually start zapping people, man. And we always bring up many examples or different examples so you can visualize and see what we're seeing. All right. But Yahweh Shah is not joking around. He's not playing. They're not playing. Yahweh Shah is not playing. All right. The Most High Father is getting ready to bring that judgment back, especially to put down the wicked Esau, Edom. And Esau, your warplanes are no match for the chariots, man. I'm glad to tell you that. You know, like someone say, I'm sorry to tell you. No, I'm glad to tell you, Esau. Your chariots are no match for Yahweh Shah and the chariot he's going to come upon. He's going to ride up on. And also the chariots that the angels are going to ride within. They're gonna get busy and destroy you, man, and your military, man. Thus said the Most High himself, Yahweh. All right. This is the fight that you're going to lose, but there has to be a fight. There has to be a war, because the Most High Heavenly Father, like I said again, is a man of war. He wants this war to happen and take place. But it's going to be a spectacle to see, because it's going to be the ultimate stamp, all right, of the war, by seeing Yahweh Shah destroy Esau and his military, along with the missiles on the way as well. All right. So, Lord willing, you were edified. You know, I don't want to make this video too long, you know, but Lord willing, you was edified, you know. And Lord willing, those chariots appear real soon, you know. All right, so with that, I'm going to give all praise and honor and glory unto Yahweh, Baal Shem Yahweh Shah, Baal Shem Rakak Wadash, Shalom Akim, Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. Till next time, I say Shalom. And Abad Babal.